Yo, just before we get into the episode, as it's a deep topic, we just want to put a disclaimer. This is just our viewpoints, a discussion, and what we have seen in our life. If you find anything that you don't like or want to discuss further, please comment it down below and we'll respond in kind. But enough said, let's get back to it. Yo, welcome back to another episode of Late Night Walks. This is walk three. No, something else. Season 1, walk 3. I hope everyone's having a splendid day today. Today's topic is going to be about mental health, so it's a bit of a serious topic, and yeah, we're gonna give our viewpoints, our opinions, and other information. So hopefully you'll learn something. And
Yeah, as you might have in the first two walks. Let us know your thoughts on that and the whole new season. But yeah, let's get into it. What is mental health?
mental health as a general topic is very broad, but I would break it down into like 4 categories. One would be beliefs, such as religion, that kind of stuff. So another one is emotion.
So these 4 categories, they're what? The variables that make up your mental health.
Yeah, I would say like you can break them down into yeah. You can link them together, you can break them down, but I would say these 4 are like very interlinked together. I would say belief is one. I would say emotion is one. So social life is one as well, and then environment as well. As in like people who hang.
So that's 3, and then probably biological.
Yeah, biological stuff as well. So like being a boy, being a girl, like stuff that you have to experience at school and all sorts.
I don't know, the science, probably genetics and stuff as
Yeah.
well.
I would say the most important one would be emotion. I feel like emotion has a massive toll on everyone's mental ability to do stuff. I would say love is the most impactful, beneficial, and like it goes both ways.
Yeah, like if there's lack of it and
Yeah.
if when there is an abundance, it's going to change your mental health completely.
If you have like good love with someone, then you'll have like your mental health will be in a good place.
Yeah.
But if you have bad love with someone or like a toxic love with someone, your mental capacity, mental state will be much different. But yeah, do you have any situations that you've ever had experience before, or
Like, I think like during secondary school, it was all right. Mental health, it was just like bleh. Of course, like when year 7, 8 was calm. 9 was just we're like slowly getting downhill. 10 was pretty bad, and then beginning of 11 was when it like reaches not maximum, but a peak relative. What's the let's use the mathematical term. What's it? The local maximum. The local maximum, and yeah, it's just like. I don't know. It was probably the lowest I've had in my life so far. Not to say that it was some crazy thing, but it's like relative to your experience of life, innit? Just like, relationships with different people, friends, not the best. Like in terms of not just from their side, from my side as well. My grades were terrible, but like that's one of the reasons. Just like it's like I think it's like from when you're living life passively, as in like you're not striving for any goals, you're just living. I think that's like one of the reasons when it was down, just like
you felt like you lacked a bit of purpose. You don't know what to do for. Yeah.
just like a mess. And like back then I used to like allow negative thoughts, and then like because at the same time I had my exams going, I had like year 11, like I forgot the exams. Like, well, teachers might be watching this, but I remember I left an exam early
Why?
because I could not hack it. My mental health was screwed. Plus, I was stressed about the test. And at the same time, I was like, bro, what is going on? So I gave some nonsense excuse, but it's done now. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
They can't come back for you anymore.
Yeah, it's just from my mental health, innit? And then I restarted the exams because like, I literally wasn't able to do them properly. I was stressing life and this. Them, I would probably say for me, that's one of the most important positive. I know it sounds crazy, parts of my life, because you need a low to make your clock like okay, like first like why is this happening?
You rebounded off your low point.
Slap in the face like okay, relax, what's going on? And then I tried meditation. I was like okay, people be saying this meditation thing. What the hell is it? Let's give it a try. I forgot. I used the app. I'll put the app on the screen. It's like you start off in the beginning of this course, like 1 minute a day. And I was like, wow, this is working. And everything went up, man. And then you figure out different things. You talk with your parents, have better relationships with your friends, just stuff like that. And then now we're an op, and that's probably one of the most life-changing things because the main thing was about thinking negatively, because that's when I realized, okay, you need to stop thinking negatively because it impacts everywhere. Then I switched to being like more
Positive. Yeah, give more self-love to yourself and everything.
Yeah, I think the main thing is lack of self-love, indirectly and directly. But then now that's probably the best blessing I've been given, that low moment, because it clocked me in the head. But now I'm better position. That's when I figured out that, well, like got into this whole spiritual thing. Because I was like, hey, I don't really believe in this. Yeah, there's another factor. I didn't really understand like the whole spiritual angle. Then you go into it. I started like, okay, let's see what this whole thing really is about. Surely none of this is real. Krishna says, "What's up?" Shiva says, "What's up?" And then you're chilling. Yeah. What about you?
I would say the same thing about year 11, year 10, year 9 being out. Okay, if we had to just start from the very beginning, I would say 11 plus was a very stressful time for me. I see it in my sister now because she's just done her 11 plus. I can see the emotional toll it's had on her. Not because like we've been strict on her to like do this.
Yeah.
It's just the effort she's been putting in and everything. I can see how much it's draining her. And knowing that I also went through this, I know that she'll be mentally disturbed. Not majorly, but she will. It'll be like the footsteps, like the stepping stones for like worse and worse. So I can see how she's been emotionally drained, tired. Like it's just crazy. So that was my also stepping stone. Then A levels came, GCSEs came, all of this came on top, and then so the thing that helped me through it was probably the love, and not like romantic love or relationship kind of, not like girlfriend kind of stuff. The thing that helped me through it was meeting the right people at the right time, and it's not even that you were perfect. Like for example, you were one of the right people at the time. Jay was one of the right people. Raven was one of the right people. But it's not the fact that you guys came to me at the right time. It's you met me, and we all shaped our relationship in the right way.
Yeah.
We all went through to stuff together, and slowly we were getting closer as friends, closer as like brothers in sense, and eventually we were open enough to talk about our problems and stuff. I think that was one key moment that helped me with my mental health stuff.
That took time, man. Because like you go through the phase of just being like jolly, just waffling, funny, and then like I remember we like actively
We actively asked each other how we are and everything. Yeah. I think the part where it switched for us was like when we were like, yo, we're not only here for the good times, we're also here for the bad times. If you need anything to talk about, we're always going to be here.
Yeah.
I think that's when it switched. It was like, okay, so these guys are not going to leave if I tell them something bad. They're just going to be there as well. And I think that's one problem that some people do struggle with. It's to open up with even close friends. I am not going to name examples, but I do know some friends that were struggling, and they wouldn't open up in the sense they were afraid to open up. They were afraid that I would be or he would be emotionally affected as well. But the thing that I remember someone telling me was, if you think about ending the pain, just like not keeping it inside of you, it's not gonna benefit others because the pain is gonna shift to them eventually. The way I mean it is like, if I kept my pain inside, one day it's gonna explode and affect.
Oh, it's gonna shift anyway like that.
You can't completely lose the pain. It's going to be there. It's just sharing it and going through it together is always one thing I found out. The other thing was like playing sports, my um, exhaust engine, whatever you want to call it, is just being able to go where I wanted, whenever I wanted, playing badminton, and just not having to think about anything else.
Yeah.
Not having to think about anyone else.
It's like a break.
Yeah, like a break. It was.
Is it an escape?
I would say it was my escape. I would say whenever I couldn't be bothered to do anything, whenever I just was too tired, like I had enough of life and everything, I would go hit badminton. I would go play with team. I would do anything I could, and it slowly was just, this is better than all the negative thoughts I was thinking before. I just had so much fun then. It was just better.
And sometimes you do need like a break. Of course, you need to deal with your problems, but a break is very important.
How would you have said you would say to other people, especially people watching us today? How would you say? What advice would you give them to like deal with mental health and stuff like this?
I don't know how you do it. Well, no. I think just it's a mindset thing first. A lot of people they're passively going through life. You're just living. I'm not saying I'm not living, but I'm saying actively going about your day, thinking about why you are the way you are, who are you, why did I behave like this at this point, and how can I get to be in a better position. Just reflecting. I just stepping back and reflecting. One of the things I do, I'm not This will work for everyone, in my opinion. But just give it a try. Meditation, like for example, that just gives you a break. Like for example, you break like other activities, like playing with your mates, talking to someone, something that puts you a step back and you're looking at your life. Then you're like, okay, that's clearly messy. How do we go about that? And then with that, combined with a positive attitude and trying to remove anything that's emanating like negative energy into your life, bad friends, bad like just the vibes you're in, you're like if you're in a messy environment, stuff like that. Just removing those, replace them with positivity.
You know what you just said about removing the negative energy and something. It reminds me of like the Instagram reel I saw recently.
Yeah.
It was like saying, if you're in a bad environment, how long should you last? How long should you take it until you leave? And the guy said a funny response, but it's very accurate. His response was, how long would you drink poison for until you die? And in that sense, it does make a lot of sense. When you're in a poison environment, you don't want to drink at all. You leave as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So in that sense, if you're in a toxic environment,
You're generally blindly drinking poison.
blindly drinking it until it slowly gets to a level that you snap.
Yeah.
Why wait to that level? Just leave now. I know it might be hard. It might affect you. For example, the one I would say is relationships. Relationships is not
romantic.
romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Romantic relationships are not about finding the right person. It's about making them the right person.
Making them the right.
Right? Yeah. So like for example, say I was in a romantic relationship. It's not about I found this girl or this person.
Yeah.
It's about making them the person I want them to be. There's going to be flaws. There's going to be flaws. No one's perfect in this world.
I was not changing them,
Changing the mentality to support me as well, and me to support them as well.
Can we go and explain?
So, say I found a person. It's not like we'll snap like that. We won't be instantly
You have
connected.
to change yourself, and
You have to change yourself to tailor to them.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have to change themselves to tailor to me.
Yeah.
And then slowly and slowly, as you get to know each other more, they'll be more romantically involved with you, emotionally involved with you, physically, emotionally, and everything connected
Yeah.
to you in a way that you will enjoy and the way they will enjoy as well. That's finding the right person.
Yeah, for romantic and basically any relationship. Like I saw this animation, like it was two shapes, and they were like doing some romantic, as in like they were trying to be in a relationship. The two shapes, it was like a circle and a pentagon, and they had like a crack in the middle in both of them, but they tried to fit and they couldn't. So the pentagon cut off a part of his head, and the circle cut off part of his body, and then
They went together. Yeah, exactly. It's the sacrifices that some people have to make, and even not in a romantic way. If you have a friend that's not being the best person to you, even though they're doing it subtly, but you can tell they're not being the right person to you, break it off. Like, I know it might be hard. You might be thinking, I'm losing a friend, but break it off as soon as possible because
doing more damage than harm.
you're doing more damage to yourself than harm. Because as time goes on, they're gonna do something eventually. Like if they're already doing subtle things to you, even if you're scared to break it off, break it off. It's more beneficial for you. You'll find others. There's 8 billion people in this world. You'll find someone who's better than them.
Find some homies like the LNW crew in it.
Another thing is, what would you say the biggest mistake that you did in your life, or someone you know about that did?
Biggest mistake. That's a crazy one. We do this thing in Casey Talk. I've only done it once, but I know they do it often. Like sacred sangha, where you get like everyone sits in a round thing, and you get 3 categories of questions. One like low, medium, high, and they have like deep questions in high like this, and you answer it as a group. Or like individually.
Yeah, individually. Yeah.
I think someone got asked this. For me, biggest mistake.
You can tell them the one that you know about. It doesn't have to be personally you. It could be someone else that you know about their mistake they openly said. You don't have to name mention.
I got asked like what my biggest regret was.
What's your biggest regret?
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's my biggest regret. It's just a regret I had recent to the time. I don't think I have too many regrets, but I can go into that after. But it's just like because I've started business and we've had the podcast. I wish I started it earlier. Because of course we would have been able to do this before. Just like a little bit of waffling and just being like scared like what people are gonna think, stuff like just having self-doubt stopping you from doing stuff you actually want to do. But yeah, I don't think I have much regrets in life because I see anything that you regret or any mistake you have done as something like that's gonna make you grow because you learn from it and leads to greater good.
Okay, that's interesting.
I don't know biggest mistake I've done.
You don't think that? I think biggest mistake is there's many small ones that lead to the bigger one,
Yeah.
and then that
I
might
think like having a negative mindset in itself.
is probably a big mistake.
Yeah. Like not like when I was passively living through life. Just that's a mistake in itself. But about regretting and just lows in general. I think like for example, till this day, I still thank Krishna and God in general. Like, oh, thank you for the low because it made me realize you, and it made me just have a different mindset. So they are, for me, I see them as good karma, whatever you take it as. But yeah, because it makes you as a person as well.
Makes you better as a person, yeah.
Yeah.
What physical like behaviors would you think you have to change to make yourself a better person? So I know one of them would have been meditation for you. It was like a
Yeah,
good. But what
meditation.
other examples would you suggest to like people that are watching and struggling right now?
Meditation, of course. Physical health. Um, I don't know. By physical, do you mean just like activities, like just physical, like exercise, or like fun sports, like swimming? I used to do so much swimming. It's like a huge break because you kind of have like a mini purpose during that time. Yeah, any sports with friends. Like for example, one of my friends at uni, we play pool, and then like sometimes we have like deep conversations during the pool or whatever, just chilling.
Just chilling with mates is one of the best
Yeah, yeah,
ways. Fair enough. I would also say that there is, when it comes to like physical stuff, it doesn't take away all the pain. I think it just like gives you an escape. I don't
yeah,
think it's like a
yeah.
cure. I think the only way to cure it is like doing an emotional activity. And I think the emotional activity is confiding with other people, talking to someone like a therapist if necessary,
Yeah,
talking to mates, and dealing with the problem. So if it's something that you're just pushing away, for example, like when I was applying for unis and stuff, I would keep pushing it away until the last day, like personal statement stuff. Keep pushing away because it's such a major impact that will have in my life. I'll keep pushing and saying, I'll do it tomorrow. Just can't hack it today. Can't hack it
yeah,
today.
yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I regret doing a lot now. I re-
I still do it till this day, man.
and I regret doing it because when it comes to like the week before deadlines and stuff, I would be stressing so much. I'll be like, if I had just been more proactive, done it before, I wouldn't have stressed at all for this moment. That's the one thing I do hate about myself.
Bro,
The
I do
fact
the
that I
same
push
thing.
it. It's just I don't know what to do to stop myself from pushing away. But recently I've been like meeting new people and everything, and then they've just been helping me to get through stuff. They don't know it, how much they've helped and stuff like
Oh.
that, but they have helped in many, many ways. And I think that's the only way I found to cope. Like meditation for you has probably helped you a lot, but for me, it's just talk.
Talking's cold. Yeah, yeah. Talking definitely helps. It's just like I feel like meditation helps in a different way. Talking helps in a different way. Like meditation is like internal reflection. I think that's like from another perspective, just talking to other people.
What would you say the difference between mental health and talking to other people is?
Mental health. Or
Oh,
you
no,
mean
sorry, meditation, bro.
meditation is like within yourself. I think it gives you like for me. I usually use like the analogy like your brain is your bedroom. Meditation is you cleaning that bedroom, and then also like after a certain level, like communicating with yourself, having a break, and also like if you do it like in a heavily spiritual way, it's like communicating to the divine for me when I do it, and just feeling the presence of the divine that like puts it off. Like for example, if I'm meditating, I think of Krishna, think about his love towards you, and just love towards him, and then thank him, stuff like that. Mantra meditation, I don't do it much. I need to. Like for example, when we did kirtan, bro, it has like such a positive vibration, goosebumps to you, stuff like that. And then when you talk to other people, gives you another perspective on like what your situation is. Like for example, like even though you analyze your mess, there might be some obvious mistake that you can't notice, or like maybe something like for example, like you said about procrastinating your work. Yeah. Like when you talk to other people, you feel cool because like okay, other people dealing with the same issue. You're not
And
by
then
yourself.
I'm not by myself, and then they will also tell me their problems, and I'll feel like okay, I've got a purpose now. I'm going to help this person as well while they help me. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah, helping other people helps a lot as well.
It gives you like sense of like responsibility and purpose at the same time. Makes you feel like don't know. I don't want to say like giggly inside. I want to say make you feel like good. Like you've helped them. You've made a positive impact on themselves.
Yeah, I
So
get what you mean.
don't be afraid to tell people how you feel and stuff because they if they're a close friend to you, they will appreciate that you've told them instead of hiding it away from them.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I was saying in the GC the other day, you know, when I put that paragraph. Yeah, because we did in Casey's talk, we did a session about like love, like types of relationships. So the first one's like brahmacharya.
what was that one?
It's like relationship with yourself. It's like periods of life, but we like related it to love and relationships. So first,
Why don't we like build off of that then? Like,
okay, should we use that template? Big up Shreya. I want her as a guest soon if she's ever free. But yeah, So the first one was brahmacharya. It's like between ages of like 0 to 25. Of course, the ages are rough, but like roughly when you're prepared to love and when you're loving yourself, educating yourself, and also preparing to like love the world and like love like romantically. And then it's next stage. I don't remember the other stages' names. That one is like romantic love, like growing with another person, loving another person. The next one is like family and just growing. Like it's called. I think that one's protecting your love. And the last one is sannyasi, which is like a heavily spiritual. We didn't go into that one too much, but yeah.
Those are the 4 stages. Well, in that.
Yeah, so we were mainly, but I was looking at brahmachari because like that's what the ages we're in, and yeah, like we had a discussion about like sharing to others, and I realized recently, like because I noticed, okay, negativity is a problem, don't do it. I also noticed like complaining is a waste of time and it's also negativity. It's like you get high off of complaining, like this is so shit, man, and everyone like especially in our generation when you complain, it's like everyone amps it up together, like it feels good.
Yeah, they like
Temporarily.
rally behind the
Yeah,
negativity
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah. If everyone's complaining, okay, it's fine, like, and then it's okay. I don't want to complain, but at the same time, like for example, especially the last few weeks, it's been hella hectic. I don't like share that much because I'm like, okay, oh, I saw sharing as complaining, but evidently that's wrong, and that's one of the things I realized. Okay, even though like complaining is not good, this is different because you're trying to look for advice. So complaining is you trying to fix the problem rather than just saying there's a problem. So it's still optimism in a way because you're trying, okay, like how can we approach this problem? Let's ask another person.
I like the thing that you said that sharing is not about complaining because I've never thought of it like in that way because I always thought telling someone else even my happiest moments felt like me boasting, like boosting my ego and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't do it because it either boosts my ego or I'm complaining. So I was like, okay, let's just not mess with it.
I would never do it as well because I would think one, it'll probably make them feel bad or it make me look like I'm got a massive ego. And the other way around would be, why do I need to give my burden of pain to them? Why do I need to do that kind of stuff? But then it makes me realize that sharing is not only about that. It's also for them to give me an opportunity for them to share to me.
Yeah.
It's also for them to open up to me as well. I've opened up to them now, and it's them. It's not their time. It's not. They don't have to open. It's just they also have the outlet now to come open
Help
to
you
me.
out.
Yeah.
Fix a problem with you.
So I would say that everything is like a relationship. Like even friendship is like a relationship. It's not a romantic relationship, but everything is relationship. And the way I would say it is, when you first meet someone, you have the spark. You have that connection that you met. That's the easy thing. Connecting with you is easy.
Yeah.
And then after a while and everything that happens, if something loses that spark, if I lose the spark with you, I'm gonna go. Like, I'm just gonna dip.
No, I'm
But
joking. Yeah.
I'm dipping. But the thing I realized is the thing in between all of this, the spark to the end of the spark, is the commitment with you. The fact that I'm committed to stay as a good friend to you, help you no matter what, is the most ideal practice.
Like our friend group's really sick. Like we meet often, we're like open with each other. We're getting even more open with each other. Like we're still growing, of course, and we have that spark of just like
It's just the hardest part is maintaining the commitment. Finding the spark in the relationship is the easiest part. Losing the spark at the end of the relationship is also very easy. The key component is just the commitment.
Yeah.
If that commitment stays there and both of you or the 3 of you or 4 of you, no matter how many people it is, if that commitment stays, you'll always be locked in.
Do you think it's like the reason like as friends you have friend groups is because like we're all on the same page?
I would say we
Because
all have the same interests. We all have our same interests and we also have some things we don't like. For example, I like badminton, but you prefer tennis over badminton. In that sense, that we both like sports, so we are able to talk about it. It's just when it comes to specifics, we might not be able to link that properly.
Yeah.
It's just we all have the same interests, but lack the exact same ideals.
Yeah, so similar interests, like similar worlds of interest.
And that I think that keeps the tenacity keep going.
If we were all the same,
It'd be boring. It's like, you know, that poster that you've seen before. If everyone had the same face, life would be boring. You'll just see yourself everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're a bit different gives us stuff to talk about, stuff that's going on.
But we're different to an extent, but we're not like completely different.
Yeah, we're not like, oh, football and then rugby. We're not like that kind of level. Not, that's a terrible example. But I mean, like, we're not so far away that every time we talk, it's just either one person talking and no one else.
Yeah.
It's the fact that if you mention something, I have inputs to put on as well. It's not me just listening or waffling. So
Yeah.
I think that's the part.
So do you think people that are completely different can never be friends? I think they'll find a middle ground between them. Because humans, we're all similar, at least in one way or the other.
You know when you said that there's no way for them to become friends, I thought of like the saying, what was it? Opposites always attract.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I would say, yeah, they will find middle ground, or they'll just be different type of friends. Because like the type of friendships there are is like close friends, best friends, and then just friends, and then just emotional friends, and then all sorts. I think each friendship has a different criteria. Our criteria is just we're close friends, like we're brothers, kind of in that related.
Yeah.
And then if you're talking about emotional friends, they could be completely opposites. They just offload on each other. And then if you had,
I like how we have like an all-round thing, because of course, like you need different friends for everything. But when you have something all-round, I think it's just easier because you can cover more at once. You're gonna bond better and stuff like that.
and yeah, I think that's what we have. That is some people lack. But yeah, on about the topic again. Do you have any like things that happened to you? And so we talked about like the education side, but do you have any like other sides that you have, like any experiences that you've had before from that?
As in like put me on a low.
Yeah, put you on a low. Or have you heard of stories from other people that put them on a low?
Generally, I think it just like, for example, it was education, but it was also like lack of like emotional connection with like friends. Of course, with parents, but like with the friends I had at the time. I'm not saying it's their fault. It's also mine. We didn't have like an emotional connection because for me it was just awkward. I don't know why. But then once, like, of course, like from you guys, okay, with emotional connection there now. So my uni friends, amazing. And then you have a block because you don't know what you want to communicate with others, like what they're gonna think. Of course, that's because you're young. You're kind of silly. I think friends, like just communicate, emotional connection with friends, education at the time, because like of course you're overly stressed. For example, when we both said 9, 10, 11, it was also COVID during that time.
Yeah, it was. So we didn't get to see each other often, even though I did fuck all during that time.
Bro, I don't know what I did.
I don't know how.
Fortnite, now to be fair, Fortnite, where you spammed Fortnite.
Yeah, we did that, but like my grade wise, I don't know how I got my grades. I did. I literally would attend the lesson. I would wake up, attend the lesson, go back to sleep, and then in the night we would always play Fortnite every night.
Yeah. Fortnite, Minecraft.
Yeah, we always played that game. Yeah, but during that time it was just
About video games, this is a controversial thing. I think stuff like, what do you think about, like, how you said there's like activities that you can do, like escapes that go like too far. Like for example, like if you go too far into sport, unless it's your profession, or too far into video games, do you think it can give you a false sense of purpose? Unless you're doing it professionally. I don't know.
because I would like to say if you're spending everything on it and it's not your profession, then yes, it's too far.
Like if I'm playing video games every day, but I'm trying to become a lawyer,
I would say that's fine because I play badminton nearly every day, and I'm doing economics.
Okay, let's say not every day. Let's say like for 5 hours every day.
I still do training, so I would say the boundary is if you put video games or a sport, which is not your profession, which is not what you're trying to become like a professional in, above the priorities of others. So other priorities would be
for a long period of time.
Other priorities would be like your job or like family or friends or your social life or just connecting with others. If you put all this stuff above, I think that's when it's emotionally and mentally bad for you. It might give you a false sense of purpose in life.
Yeah, for example, like I see video games. Like, for example, I don't like playing video games that much anymore. I only like playing it with friends because we just do funny stuff in between. But like, other than that, I think like it can give you like a false sense of purpose and success because like you put all the effort. Like, for example, like I realized this: you can play a video game doing the dumbest task and most boring task within the video game just for some side quest. Which might even be more boring than like your homework, but you do it because it's in the game. It gives you your own like faster version of success. For example, like when I used to play Roblox, I used to play like the dumbest games back in year 8, like mining shit for no reason. Where if I zoom into that activity, it's more boring than like maths because I'm just clicking the same button like 5 times or some shit.
I think it's just because everyone's mind is just do like baby stuff and you'll be chilling. Just pressing a button, that's easy. Maths is a bit harder, but in retrospective of like what's important, maths is much more.
and then like you get a sense of purpose that is more visible to you. Of course, like retrospectively, maths is way important, but at that point, you're thinking me getting that new weapon in the game or something.
Yeah, at that moment of time, that little change, that little
Yeah.
shift is better.
Mm.
Well, not better, but more emotionally affecting
Yeah.
than maths or something.
And it also shows like the capability, because if you can concentrate on that task to get that done,
If you focus on something else, what you could do is.
same framework. Bro, you're sick.
I've got one question for people out there as well. If you,
Yeah, let me give you the mic.
you can just take the mic and talk, guys. If you have a friend that you can see is doing unwell, or your relative doing unwell, what would your go-to approach be to talk to them, find out what's wrong, and that stuff? What would you do?
That's a hard one. Because sometimes like you could just do the how's life? Yeah, how's life? You go, yeah, good, because everyone just says yeah, good.
But you could see like you could, so you've asked him
sense.
a couple of times, like he or she, you've asked him a couple of times, saying, "Yo, you saying yo, what's good, bro?" and like that, and they say, "Yeah, I'm chilling, bro, nothing."
Yeah.
But you could see that they're being emotionally.
You can just tell that they're like in a bad mood.
What would you do? Even though you've messaged him a couple of times, what would you do? That's like a step further.
Probably like if it's in person, then try like okay, let's have like a real conversation. I feel like you look a little bit down. Just try phone them up, and also say like make sure they know like anytime you can call me. But of course, like that's also become a common thing now. Everyone says, okay, you can call me whenever I'm here to talk to you. And then sometimes people still don't do that. So I think you just need to be more active on it. And also, like, kind of try to relate to them. Like, if you can see them on a low, don't try to diminish their problems, but try to say, like, explain that you're in a similar situation, give them some hope, just communicate with them. Because, like, and also, like, make sure they're not lonely for too often if it's especially serious. Because they're going to have their own, like, whatever chain of thoughts.
Would you say that? So the way I would approach it was be I would, if it was in person, I would sit with them and then just say, "Yo, I've got something to tell you today." I would open up to them first. Like, it wouldn't be a major thing. I would open up to
That's cool.
like a smaller thing, like of course not major, but like something small.
Yeah.
And then if they reciprocate it, then I'll reciprocate it back with something major and major until we slowly get to his problem or like her problem. Until we slowly reach that level and then realize, okay, right, these are the things that I would suggest you do. Of course, it's your choice at the end of the day.
That's actually a good idea.
And then I think that would be the best way. And the same thing for someone else. I'm telling you now, but if anyone else, a close friend of mine, does watch this,
Yeah.
if you ever think I ever feel like this or ever feel down, I would appreciate if that's the way you would come.
Okay. I will definitely do it, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the way. And of course, to my friends as well, like school friends that I speak to some days, well, nearly every day now. If anything like that ever happens, I will reciprocate it in that matter. But the fact is, the school friends are all at uni now. Not all, but most. So it's harder for me to see their emotions on phone.
Yeah.
But if I ever do meet them in IRL and I feel like they're down, then the easiest way would be just open up to them first, then them opening up.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Opening up to them first so they get like comfort. Of course, if it's a hella close friend, like if you're down, it'll be like an easier discussion.
But if it's like a somewhat close friend, but not as close,
Yeah.
be a bit harder to talk, but slowly get into it. I've got another question. How do you think parent strictness affects you or like affected your mental health?
I think I got away with like more lenient parents, like especially like talking about like brown parents in general. Conventionally, they're like very strict. And then what was the question exactly?
It doesn't have to be your perspective, but if we went on a general, how do you think strict parents would affect people's mental health?
Oh, okay. So I think strict parents can cause a lot of issues. Because I think strict parents generally come from like the parents being scared of like what their child is gonna do. So then they be overly strict. Because they're like, okay, shit, I can't make them make a mistake. But then the child loses the freedom of growth. For example, like the problem with strict parents is generally they're protective in terms of like they don't want the children to make a mistake. But sometimes, like for example, you need mistakes, and I think these kids who have strict parents can miss out on those lessons. Of course, they'll make mistakes anyway. And another thing is like, for now I'm in uni. Like once they do get the freedom, it's a different story. Like you see, especially our generation, brown kids, they switch up, man. Because once they're away from home, they do whatever they want because you've essentially caused that. Because
you've put them in like a cage for so long.
Yeah, and you just
You've
release them. Their definition of freedom is just the opposite of whatever you stop them from doing.
you stop saying, even if it wasn't bad, like just going out with friends, even if it wasn't bad, the fact that you stopped them so much that when they have the ability to do it now and there's no one to stop them,
Yeah.
they're gonna take it so far that it's unacceptable, even for them in their right minds. It would have been unacceptable.
Yeah.
And we have scenarios, but I don't think we'll say them now. We'll explain them in future episodes if we talk this again.
100%.
But one thing that I did want to say was strict parents have two ways of doing it. One, they will just keep you in the house. They won't let you go anywhere. Two is they'll let you out, but they'll confide you into not feeling happy about it. And the way I would say it is, first scenario is they just don't let you out. You're just trapped in the 4x4 walls. That's it. You just lose all sense of motivation, confidence, social life, mental health. Everything goes away.
Yeah, like generally, like strict parents' children, they generally end up with like poor mental health, and that's definitely because one. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but one of the reasons is because of their strict parents.
And then the second reason is the second type is your parents are strict enough that they'll let you go out, but they won't let you have the peace of mind when you're out. And what I mean by that is they'll text you non-stop. They'll be like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?"
I'm lucky to have not much of this issue, thankfully. But I know, of course, people.
People,
that we know,
we have scenario. We have people that we know as well.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Where are you? What time are you coming back? Where are you exactly now? Give me
Yeah.
your location. Who are you with?" That kind of stuff. And I feel like I understand the parent love side of it. They care for you. It's just you need to let me go a bit to experience the world. Because if you don't let me experience it, when I do have the ability to experience it, I'm gonna take it so far that it's not gonna be socially acceptable anymore.
Yeah. You have like more room to grow. Yeah. Like for example, like my parents. I'm not saying this will work with all like types of kids, but like they about alcohol, for example, they were like, okay, fine, it's up to you. You can drink if you want. Where some parents be like, okay, don't drink at all. And for me, okay, it became more of an option, a choice for me, rather than just something like, oh, I have to do it full curiosity. So I don't go into drink because I have freedom to do it. I analyzed it myself, and now I don't drink. Stuff like that.
It's your choice.
Yeah. I only tried it once, and other than that, because I actively tried it once, just for the sake of it, and then I know that I definitely don't want to do it. But because of that freedom, you're more likely to make healthier choices. Of course, there is an extent where children can make dumb choices, but also I think it's nice like to give children the freedom to do so.
Yeah, you had the choice. So you had like the option and then you chose which one was better because you've experienced the world enough to know which one's better or not. So that sense it was good. One thing I don't that mentally affected some people that I know of is how do I say this in a way that doesn't
Are you talking about like when they're not given the choice, they just use that as freedom?
Yeah, they just abuse the freedom.
Yeah, as in like because their definition of freedom is that.
Yeah.
So then that's what they go to as soon as.
What would you say from a parent's perspective? So from our perspective, what would you say to the parents that do watch this and stuff? What would you say they should do to their kids? And what would you like?
It's a hard one.
Or
In
what would
terms
you
of
like?
what?
In any terms.
As in, like, for strict parents in general, I'd just say like it's all about all a matter of like looking at it from different perspectives, and like generally strictness gets passed down. It's like if your parents are strict, you're more likely to be strict. So then like kind of it might have like some their own like childhood trauma has caused them to be strict on you. So I think parents reflecting on their own childhood and what they wish their parents could have done better, what they want to do now, is one factor. And I think like strictness isn't gonna work most of the time. Most of the time like your relationship with your child is gonna get spoiled because of your strictness. Yeah. Of course, that doesn't mean don't have any boundaries for your children, but I think just try to loosen up in the smartest way possible. I'm not saying like, hey, do whatever you want.
Be a bit more lenient.
Yeah.
Okay. So parents, if you listen, this is just our opinion. You don't have to listen.
Yeah, bro. You guys are parents. You know better than us. We're just saying
more knowledge and stuff. But
yeah.
After hearing what we've said, we hope that for your son or daughter, you have somewhat more knowledge and that kind of stuff.
From like a younger perspective, because sometimes like you don't know what you're doing because of the generational gap. Because like for example, they don't have access to tech, so that's like another barrier for them to understand. For example, a lot of kids will get told off like, "Why are you always on your phone?" But like for them, they need to understand it on like
That's
They
their
become
escape kind of thing.
addicted.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that when they were children, so it's harder for them to understand stuff like that. But like, I think, oh no, the main thing is just communicating with your child.
So we've talked a lot about non-romantic kind of ways. If we were to go into romantic kind of ways,
We'll definitely do like more like an episode about love,
yeah,
romantic relationships, all types of relationships. But yeah,
relationships into mental health.
yeah.
How would you say romantic relationships affect mental health?
So basically, this thing I heard 5 years ago was that has stuck with me. I haven't forgotten this. Maybe even more than 5 years ago. It was that when you're in a relationship and you have an argument, it's generally because of some problem, but it's not you versus her or whatever. It's you two together versus the problem. Because generally the problem causes you two to fight, whereas you should be fighting the problem.
Instead of when you're in a relationship, romantic relationship, it's not one versus the other. It's two people combined to make one person.
Versus the problem. Because like, why are you two arguing when you need a problem to be fixed? Like, let's say it's about time. You two are arguing, no, you did this and I did this. Okay, wait. But the issue is time. How do we tackle this? Because generally, because it becomes an ego battle. Okay, oh, you did this because of this. So many conclusions are made. But if you become a team, which you already are, and you notice that fact.
So there was one thing I saw on romantic relationships, that the main thing from romantic relationships that affect mental health is like cheating, not having spending time, communicating, and
Trust.
Yeah, those are the four. These four, if they don't happen, you have one of the most romantic, not even romantic relationship. You have one of the best mentalities ever, because
If you don't have those.
yeah, if you don't cheat, if
Oh,
you
okay,
don't, sorry, oh shit, actually wait, if you don't cheat, if you have trust on the other person, if you communicate well, and what was the last one I said?
Damn.
I forgot, but there was four.
Yeah.
If you have these four and don't cheat, whatever, if you do like the proper thing, you have such a beautiful relationship. It's not only on a romantic level, it's just on a mentality level. You'll be able to, your worth ethic, your progress, your progression, your perseverance and everything.
Because you're a team now. And when you have all those variables, it's crazy.
It's just like, I've seen examples, like personal examples. Like my friend, he was at a very, very low point in his life. He was struggling to do stuff. And this girl came into his life. And she like, I want to say it like, she literally held out her hand and helped him to become a better person. He is now studying at Cambridge. Wow, before he was getting like CCC. This girl changed his life. And I hope for the best for them. I would have mentioned your names in this, but I haven't got permission yet, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But the fact that she helped him that much can show how you can take someone from the most lowest point to the highest point ever. And it's the vice versa as well. You could take someone who's very high, meet the wrong person, cheat, lose trust, don't communicate, and all sorts.
But it's also like a dangerous thing because like you can't go into a relationship saying like I want to fix this person. If that's like your main notion, then it's gonna mess up. But like for example, it wasn't like her intention to fix him. That just naturally happened from having a healthy relationship.
They went from two individual people to one team.
Yeah. But if you come in with a thing of I'm gonna change this person, you're gonna have problems in it. But if you just strive to have a healthy relationship, for example, like Jay Shetty and I think his wife, they had a podcast together, and it was amazing. They talk about like their relationship and their love, and like it was a beautiful thing. Like I don't know if it's him or someone. His main thing is like when you're looking for a relationship, like you have like a list generally, not a list. Like instead of trying to have like some criteria, you become that criteria.
That you become the yeah. So I would say I agree to the point that you shouldn't have like a criteria, but there should be things that you look in for someone, because you can't change someone drastically. You can help them. You can heal their pains from previous lives or from previous exes, but you should look for stuff that you are interested as well. Before I said the reason we bonded so well is we had something in similar. We had still differences, but we had something similar. That's how we bonded.
There are like some like
things that should be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's one thing that I really loved, because I don't know why Instagram's just been giving me loads of these like love reels and shit like that.
Yeah.
And there's this one thing that I saw which is just amazing. It's an Irish blessing, so it's one that was said, like at church. It's one that you say for your vows and stuff.
Okay.
So it was, may you never steal, lie, or cheat. And then it says, but if you must steal, steal away my sorrow. If you must lie,
That one's sick.
lie with me all nights of my life. And if you must cheat, then cheat death because I couldn't live a day without you.
heard
That
that, yeah.
connected, because it doesn't even have to connect romantically to me. It's the same as with you. If you must lie to me, lie away my problems. If you must cheat, if you must steal away my sorrow, make me
Exactly,
happy.
yeah.
Like when we go out, I'm always happy with you guys. And if you must cheat at death. I'd rather spend more time with you guys than have to go to your funeral or some shit. So, not even a romantic way. It's just so beautiful that kind of
And once you have that set, once you have those kind of relationships,
in such a good place that nothing really gets in your way. Like before, okay, my example would have been before I met some of you guys, like before we connected like properly.
yeah,
I would care a lot about other people's opinion. I would
same.
care what they would say to me and stuff like that. But after meeting you and a few other people, I don't give a shit what they say to
Same,
me.
bro.
They can call me whatever they want, but if you call me that, then
Because we've like positively impacted each other.
if you called me that, then I'll be
Yeah,
hurt.
you twat.
Yeah, you dickhead, what you doing? But if you called me that, I would have been very emotionally hurt. But random or someone I don't really care about,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Plus, like we communicate better. For example, I think that's another huge thing for like relationship. Any communicating, because then assumptions are going to be made. If you're constantly communicating, you're less likely to make assumptions because you know what's going through their mind. And I
Just
think
being
that'll
more
make a
open and
huge
more
dif-
not more formal, but like being more open and more honest.
Like, fully honest. If they're fully honest, the connection's going to be crazy. Like, if you've been honest throughout like building a relationship,
There's not going to be any problems. Yeah.
in a good way.
And the one thing that I think people in linked to mental health and relationships, the one thing that people get wrong is they date for fun and not date for marriage. I'm not saying not everyone does this, but
This is one of the similarities in us for like,
we all date for marriage.
which is like the opposite is very common within our generation, and it's probably going to become increasingly common.
You see how year sevens move these days.
Bro,
Do whatever they want.
they have 5 girl. I'm like, what? In year 7, I was thinking about Roblox, bro. What you do?
Their notes and it's just like, oh, Samantha, blah 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 blah. They're like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that kind of thing. And also the other thing was, what was the other thing that I was gonna say? Oh, they date for fun and not like for a serious relationship for a future. And the other thing that people do wrong is they date and then try and fix all the problems. They should fix all the problems first and then go into the dating phase. There's nothing wrong. Like you can't, like if you're dating and you're emotionally connected and then you have to fix loads of problems like their problem, my problem, her sorrow, my sorrow. It's just gonna be
For me, like I see it as like a responsibility. Like, how can I go into a relationship knowing that I have problems? I can't give the relationship justice if there's obvious problems that need to be solved before.
Yeah.
You're just not gonna. It's just peak. Like why? Because you invite her problems and you invite your problems.
if you fix them both together.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not saying you won't have zero problems even after, but I'm saying like major problems and just like personal growth. You don't want to carry that in as much.
Yeah, if you have all the issues, like the major issues solved first, you're gonna be in such a beautiful state of life that it's just amazing. Let's just say that it will just be one of the best experiences you have. And the thing is, there's nothing to fight about anymore. There's nothing to argue about.
Of course, you will have quarrels, but it'll become a discussion rather than
a shouting match.
Yeah.
It'll be let's talk about it tonight, or let's deal with this.
That is like relationship goals.
Yeah, that's what everyone's trying to get. That's what we're all trying to get. That's what we're trying to
Exactly.
get to. But yeah,
There's one other thing I was gonna say. I forgot what it was. So we'll definitely have more episodes on like romance, love, relationships, which I'm excited for. But let's go back to mental health. Any other things?
I would say thought is a very big impact on mental health.
What do you mean?
And what I mean by that is, one second. What I mean by that is every day this is before, every day I would wake up and I would procrastinate about my day. I would think of situations that would never happen. I would think of scenarios that were so vastly away from reality that it seemed unrealistic and very not going to happen. But I would think about them every single day and it would just make my day start off at a bad tone. I think
like overthinking.
I would overthink about little things. And I would say, for example, little things would be like, say I'm about to go to school. My mind was so bad at the time. I would think about someone's going to hit the car. I'm going to get run over. Someone's going to hit me. I'm gonna have a fight at school. I'm gonna get told off by teachers. My phone's gonna get taken away.
That's probably like from like some caveman shit, like because you're all, like back then we're like always looking to survive, so you're trying to calculate like the worst outcome. Yeah, and that stayed on.
And then that would ruin my mental health because I would wake up and this would be the first thing I'd think about.
Something like very negative.
And it would just never be good for me.
Mm.
And then as I slowly became more carefree and just went as a day at a time, it made my life much more easier, much
Same.
more
If you lose
happier.
like, I'm not saying don't give a shit about anything, but like if you don't care, relieves so many problems. Like, if you don't care about people's opinions, okay, if like you realize you can only control what's in your control, because you stress about like, for example, if you get hit by a car like randomly, that's not in your control. Of course, I'm talking like walking, but if random someone slaps you, that's not in your control. So, once you realize that, of course, like overthinking is a huge problem that so many people deal with. But I think like if you're living life actively, if you're like we said, realize that you only have control of what you actually have control of. That sounds silly, but you know what I mean.
It's the have you heard the saying before? It's like write everything down that's happening in your life,
Yeah.
and then rub out the parts that you can't control. Highlight the parts that you can control. Focus on those ones. Yeah, it reminds me of that because I did that before. I would do. I don't do that anymore, but I used to do that. I would when I was very very low in my point. I would do that, and it would make me realize, okay, wait a minute, life ain't that bad.
Yeah,
It's
you deep it too hard. Not that deep as being a good one, you know. Not that deep. It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that
That one's a sticky one, but it is what it is. Yeah.
is what it is. That's a good one. But yeah, the more I do that.
But writing is a powerful tool. Like journaling has changed my life. Oh yeah, that's another physical thing that I completely forgot. Journaling, like because just like meditation, you write down all your thoughts. Like I'll get my iPad out, I'll spam every single thing that's in my brain, and then after you're like something off your shoulder. After meditating, you're like after talking to someone,
You get that like the goosebumps feelings
Mm.
after you've had it. You're like, oh, okay, my day's been all right now.
Yeah. And I think definitely journal. At least try it once. I think handwriting works best for me. I don't know. It's just that connection with writing. Just writing everything, and then like as you go on reviewing it, okay, maybe this happened because of this. I felt this because of blah 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 blah. Recapping, and then at the end saying what you're gonna do to make it better.
You know,
Definitely
journaling.
I'm not consistent with it, but I'm gonna try. I'm trying to be in my new schedule that I'm trying to build 100% daily.
Probably one a very very good thing to do as
Yeah.
well. Do you have any quotes that you would like to say to people?
Quotes. Oh yeah, RDJ. I read this in year 9. It was like I don't know if it's actually by him. I saw it on Google or something for some presentation I had to make about your favorite actor, and it was like, if you're at the bottom, why are you gonna stay there? And then another, I don't know who said it, but he was like, if you're going through hell, well, you're just gonna stand there in the middle, go through it, get done with it. So don't give up, basically. Yeah.
Thinking of what you just said, there's one that's I don't know if anyone said this before, but it's like you're at the bottom. There's nowhere else for you to go but up.
Yeah. It's only up from here. Yeah.
That's really like a thing. It's like you're somewhere in the middle of your life, like a ball. You're in the middle of your life. You get dropped down, but you always bounce back up.
Yeah.
It'll never drop down to the end. It'll always come back up. And that's one thing that's stuck with me. I feel like
Definitely.
if you can rebound, you can go anywhere, and you go higher. If you put more force on the rebound upwards, you go higher up. So that's like a good thing.
It's only up from here is a mad one, because people who think they're in the all low, you're not going to stay there. Anything that you can do is going to be better than this, isn't it? Yeah. That gives you hope.
Another one that I heard was for a relationship stance is love never fails. This is from the Bible, I think, but this is something I saw on Reels, and it was love never fails, but if it does, was it ever true love?
I heard with this. Yeah, that's what in my opinion, that's what it is. Yeah. Because this comes into like something that's conditional, but it's unconditional love. Conditional love can definitely fail, but unconditional can't. And for relationships, your primary relationship, romantic, family, friends, you want unconditional love. And unconditional love, by definition, it can't fail. But unconditional love is what you strive for. For example, like when you were talking about, now I remember what I was going to say. When you said about like people going into relationships for fun, it's because like everyone in their life, they want love. Because everyone, like even like spiritually in the Gita, they talk about like how every single jiva, every soul, you're built for love. So then you're going to try and get love. So like you see people in our generation or younger going into relationships that are definitely doomed, or they run into it.
And
they're
you just
doing
know
for
it won't
fun.
work out because
Yeah.
of how they acting. They're not acting mature enough to
Yeah.
take it to the next level.
Exactly.
That's
Because it's like kind of sad. Like they're trying to look for love because that's just like a beautiful thing, but they kind of mess up in that journey.
they mess up on the definition of love. Like love doesn't have to be all physical attraction. It's
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
about the emotional connection that you have with the person. I think our generation, not our generation only, but younger generation as well,
Yeah.
they're only looking at the physical attraction and then they're saying, "Oh, she's the one, bro. She's the one."
Just fully based on looks. Where after 5 years, not even 5 years, after a few months, that's not your issue anymore, bro. Main thing's personality.
So if you get the personality straight, then physical attraction is going to happen no matter what. Because personality is one thing that will never change. Physical things can change.
Yeah.
Like, I could one day like the iPhone 14, next day I like an iPhone 15. Same thing with girls. I could like her for one couple months, then like this other girl. But with personality, when you love that personality, no matter what you do, that will never change. Unless she suddenly switches up to be some other
That's a
roadman.
different thing.
But
Yeah. We're talking about like
on a general level, personality can never change. And if you love the personality,
I think it's become like a flex as well in our generation. Oh, look, my girl's a leng, bro. What about you? And then it's just become we're trying to one up each other, and you forget about personality is the main part of the equation. Of course, like looks, it's like some will make up like the initial spark, but personality makes up the majority of like
yeah,
successful.
I agree with that. That the looks make up the initial spark, but
the
then
curiosity.
personality and everything makes up the rest of the relationship.
Of course, there are other variables that can make that spark, but generally, because we're like humans at the end of the day, looks make up. But yeah, personality main. Because if you don't, if you go fully for looks and you mess up with the personality wise, you're gonna end up in a different situation, bro. Yeah.
Another thing that links mental health and relationships really closely together is patience. If she's not ready for a relationship, don't force it. And if she is ready for it, make sure she is the right one. That's one thing I would like to say out there. People are scared for relationships. As I said, mental health and relationships are very interlinked together because they will either ruin your relationship, ruin your health and mental health state, or they'll make it into a much better place that you'll never forget about anything ever again. You'll consistently work on that, and you won't only work for yourself. You'll also work for her. You also want to make sure that she's happy in that sense and everything. So those two things about patience is very important, is what I would say.
Yeah. Patience is definitely number one. Like for example, like if we go from a divinity angle, Krishna loves you more than you love yourself. Bro's got infinite patience. He's been waiting lifetimes. Still patient. So if he can be patient with you, patient with yourself and also with other people.
And the other thing I would say is mental health related. It'll be don't force yourself to do anything. If you don't love it,
So it's saying no and yes when you actually mean it.
when it comes to mental health, don't force anything on yourself. If you love it, do it. If you hate it, leave it. And if you want to keep going, and if you want to try your hardest. But don't forget the person you are.
100%.
And I would say that's just the best aspect of life. Just enjoy every moment and see what.
Like for example, if you are in a low, of course you've got all these activities, but it generally becomes like a self-love issue and love around you issue. Try to give yourself the self-love, meet people, and of course go to God as well because He's an infinite source of love. Like if I'm ever feeling down, say what's up to Krishna, and you get like poured with love, and just stuff like that. Comes down to love because that's like what you're built for at the end of the day.
It's something that we all long in.
And lack of or a mess up of causes, one of the causes of our mental health. Yeah, let us know your thoughts, of course, as we had the disclaimer in the beginning. But yeah,
This is just our viewpoints and our opinions about it. If you have something you would like us to discuss, let us know in the comments.
yeah, let us know topics. We've got guests lined up, a lot of interesting topics. Subscribe on all the socials, but mainly YouTube and our Instagram. We'll have reels and shorts going all the time, daily. But yeah,
And then
subscribe.
we'll have Spotify loading up and everything. And yeah,
Spotify. So if you want to listen to this in your car, when you're walking to school on the train, there we go.
Hit us up on there. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one in a bit.
See ya.